Hi guys, in this video we're going to look at excretion and in particular the urinary system. We're going to talk about what excretion is and why it's important, some of the waste products that need excreting, including nitrogenous wastes, the different methods of excretion, look at the urinary system including the kidney, the structure of the kidney and how that fits into the urinary system as a whole. So firstly, what is excretion? Excretion is basically just getting waste products, so things that the body doesn't need in it or is produced that are dangerous to it, out. The reason it needs to do this is otherwise cells all have things constantly coming into them, water, nutrients, stuff like that. As they break down these nutrients, they produce waste products, some of which are toxic, so if they build up in cells, that's a problem. But even the things that aren't toxic, if they build up to high enough concentrations, they can stop the reactions occurring in that cell from working efficiently. In a worst case scenario, if you have too much stuff in a cell and it becomes hypertonic to its surroundings, meaning that it's got lots of stuff in it, water can come in through osmosis and that can cause that cell to lyse, in animals that is. So some of the waste products that need to be excreted are heat. Okay, so we don't really think of heat as a waste product generally because we can't see it, but heat is one of the waste products. Our metabolism causes heat. Now this is a good thing because we're warm-blooded, so it's a good thing in cold environment, but in a hot environment we have too much heat, we need to get rid of this heat. Salts, water, and again, water is very important for life, but we need a balance of it. Too much and we need to get rid of it. Not enough, we need to drink more or conserve the water that we have. Carbon dioxide being a waste product that from cellular respiration, and then nitrogenous wastes. Now we'll talk about what nitrogenous wastes are, and this is like a fancy science word for any waste product that contains nitrogen. Now the main one in the body is ammonia. So ammonia is produced, so this blue one here is the nitrogen, so nitrogen and 3 hydrogens, and it's produced when the metabolism of protein, so when proteins are broken down to make energy or make other proteins, it sometimes can produce ammonia. Now ammonia is super dangerous, so we can only deal with very small amounts of this in the body at one time. So we need to very quickly convert this ammonia to a safer form of nitrogenous waste called urea, and this occurs in the liver. So when those cells are doing their metabolism, they produce ammonia. Once that ammonia passes the liver then turns that into urea, and urea is the nitrogenous waste that we excrete as humans. So there's a few different methods of excretion based on what you're trying to excrete and organs that do this excretion. So I talked about carbon dioxide before, so that's expelled out the lungs in the expired air. So when you breathe out, you're breathing out the carbon dioxide, which is a byproduct of respiration. You're also breathing out some water in that expired air as well. Your skin is one of the biggest ways that you lose heat from your body. And when we sweat, so when we are trying to increase the amount of heat we're also losing water and salts. So that comes into that balance as well. And then the big one and the focus of this video is the kidneys and the urinary system. So they produce urine, which is made up of water primarily, but also that urea, that nitrogenous waste product we talked about before, as well as salts, excess salts in the body. So let's have a little bit more look into the urinary system. The main part of the urinary system that does the work is the kidney. Okay, in mammals, the kidney is an organ of filtration, reabsorption, and excretion of urea. So this means that it filters the blood, it reabsorbs the things that it needs. So for example, if you don't have enough salts or you don't have enough water, it's going to reabsorb those things, and then it's going to excrete the urea because you don't need that. Kidney looks a little bit like this, a bit like a kidney bean. It's got the cortex on the outside and the medulla in the middle. Now the main functional unit of the kidney, being the nephron, goes from the cortex and dips down into the medulla, and we'll look at that in a little more detail in a second. But it's fed with blood through the renal artery, so the blood comes in through here, gets filtered, reabsorbed, bad stuff excreted or waste products excreted, and then the filtered blood then carries down the renal vein, and the urine goes from that nephron down through the medulla into the renal pelvis to the ureter. Okay, so as I said, the nephron is the functional unit, so this is where that filtration, reabsorption and excretion occurs. So the blood gets filtered into the nephron, some things get reabsorbed back into this network of blood vessels, and the urine flows out into the renal pelvis, as I said. Now these are microscopic. We've got over 1 million in each kidney. But these are very important in regulating the amount of water that we have, as well as that's related to blood pressure, as well as getting rid of waste products. So really important that these are working properly. If the kidneys stop working, you can lead to renal failure. So how this fits into the urinary system. So as we said, the kidney produces urine, goes into the renal pelvis. The renal pelvis carries that urine down the ureter. The ureter leads to the bladder, where the urine is stored. And when it's convenient, that urine is let out through the urethra to outside of the body. In this video, we've talked about excretion, which is getting rid of waste products in the body. Some of those waste products being heat, carbon dioxide, salts, nitrogenous wastes including ammonia, bad, and urea, no, not good, but still not as bad. Methods of excretion, both through the lungs, through the skin, and through the kidneys in the urinary system. We've talked about the kidneys, what their job is, how they work, a little bit of anatomy as to the different parts of the kidney, and how they fit into the urinary system, being that they create urine that travels down the ureter to the bladder for storage and is then expelled or excreted out the urethra. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out.